This is John Paval again with Access Arts Live. I'm here after the end of this wonderful concert, this symphony posthume, in which Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrards, one of the resident organists here at St. Eustache Church, by putting together different segments from Charles Marie-Widor's other symphonies, notably the 6th, the 5th, the 4th, and the Symphonie Gothique. And then finishing it all off with that magnificent toccata from the 5th Symphony by Charles Widor, created, in effect, the symphonie posthume, as he would say in French, a posthumous symphony. I want to show you a little bit about this church. I think I can turn the camera around for you before I walk out, because there are a couple things I want to tell you about as we're leaving. Now, I don't know if you can tell by looking at this one, but this church is not very deep. Compared with Notre Dame, it's something like 20 to 30% shorter. And there's your pipework up there above. And here's the console, the organ console, and the seats are all around it. So we're really surrounding it and just below the pipework. I also want to point out to you these galleries here on both sides and this portion of the church, because they are especially high. And very often the galleries of churches are not that high. And I want to point these two things out to you because they were pointed out to me by Thomas Hospital, the other resident organist, in the discussion of this church, this organ, and its sound, which we have in a 35-minute live stream video, which is up on our YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. Now, the reason why those arches, the length of the church and the arches are important is the effect that the church architecture has on the organ sound. And the organs in both churches are about the same size, about 7,000, almost 8,000 pipes, 7,952. They may have a difference in the number of stops. Here it's 115. I don't know how many it is at Notre Dame. And this is the Van den Heuvel organ. The one at Notre Dame is a hybrid organ that's been through different steps, I believe. And what that means is that if you want to reach everyone in Notre Dame Cathedral, you have to push the sound all the long way to the back of the church, which means that a certain amount of lyricism is inevitably going to get lost. And during this Widor posthumous symphony, you could tell that, especially in the fourth movement, which is a sort of longer, slower movement, about a third of the way through it, there's some very light passages just barely touching on the notes, which worked fine in the acoustics here, but I don't think they'd work as well in Notre Dame. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm talking about the different acoustics here at St. Eustache from Notre Dame. Now, this church, since it's not as deep as Notre Dame Cathedral, and since it has these high galleries on the sides, creates more of an immersive sound, and it allows you to have a lot more balance in what you do with the organ, so that the interplay between the lyrical and the brassier parts is more nuanced than you get in the longer, deeper Notre Dame Cathedral. As for the symphony itself, I had a brief chat with Marle-Ouvrards before leaving, and he confirmed for me, yes, he selected these 5 different passages as a way of creating a posthumous symphony. I asked him if he was satisfied with the result. Obviously, the public was. They were thrilled, and he said, yes, he was happy with it. I didn't have a pre-scheduled interview set up with him, so I didn't dare try to drag him into something longer. But for my part, one of the things that I learned about Widor from this posthumous symphony was how much of Widor is an alternate between very formal, stronger, brassier portions and then the long running portions where the music is just running along and flowing along and flowing along. And you saw it very much in the opening passage, which started out very formal, very brassy, which was from the Sixth Symphony, and then turned into like this running along, and then went back by the ending, bookending it with more of the formality again. And then you didn't have it in the scherzo, but the scherzo was really a demonstration of Widor's love for these long running passages where the music is just flowing and flowing and flowing, and the light today unusually was just pouring through the stained glass windows, and in that whole scherzo passage, it was just like a musical brook bubbling along in the space of eternity, or something like that. It was truly lovely. And then back in the third movement, you got back to the more stately, formal use of the organ's power, and as you did in the fourth, although the fourth was much more of a melodic passage from what's called the Gothic Symphony by Widor. It was really a lovely assembly. And then I knew he was going to knock it out of the ballpark with that fantastic toccata, the one that goes bum, 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 bum. With this organ with 7,952 pipes and a church of this size, which is not as big as Notre Dame, and those high arched galleries, the immersion of the sound was just massive, and it was a great way to hear that toccata. And it if you were going to create, I think, a posthumous symphony by Charles Widor made up of different sections from different symphonies, there was no way you could end it with anything other than that famous toccata from the Fifth Symphony. And Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrards absolutely did not disappoint with his performance of it. The audience was, well, you had people on their feet giving him a standing ovation at the end. And so it was, I live in Paris half the time. I don't always come out here to do something like this on site. But when I was thinking about what Marle-Ouvrards had come up with for this performance, I just thought it was such a great idea that I just had to come down here and check it out and experience it in person. But as I said, when you watch these on a live stream, you get things that people in person don't get, because you get better views of both the handwork and the footwork of the organist, which we really don't get to see, unless and there are 300 of us here for these kinds of recitals, so we don't get to see those kind of details that you do. I was hoping I might see Marle-Ouvrards still around now here after I probably should have put him on the stream when I had him for a few seconds, because he kept looking down at the camera, almost inviting me to do so. Anyway, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. I hope those of you who did tune in to enjoy the concert had a good time, who were inspired, uplifted, or just enjoyed it. And I'll remind you that every week on Tuesday we put out a live stream in which I lay out for you all of the organ recitals coming up to be live streamed that week. And many of the regular live streams are coming back online now, including Glasgow University Chapel, Queen's College at Oxford, Temple Church in London, Methuen Memorial Church, Ely Cathedral, Truro Cathedral. So there's a lot going on this week. And later today, coming out of San Francisco, is Mina Marie Jelinek, who is a French and American trained organist, will be playing the magnificent organ at Grace Cathedral. That will be live streamed as well. So I encourage you to tune that in. She's got a very interesting lineup of pieces that she's going to be playing. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head exactly which they are, but I can't. I have too much Charles Marie-Widor in my mind right now. Anyway, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, I encourage you to leave comments on this video wherever you see it. I'm live right now on Facebook, YouTube, X and LinkedIn, and we will put a replay up on our other channels, Instagram and TikTok. And wherever you may watch us, I encourage you again, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And we will continue to provide you with more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in the coming year. So I will now say ciao for now. And I will be seeing you on Monday and Tuesday in our weekly live stream roundups of big stage productions, chamber works, and organ recitals. Ciao for now.